I remember we was at the academy, and thank God this guy ain't in law enforcement. He failed. Thank you, Jesus. We was doing, and that's why I'm saying it. That's the only why I'm saying it, because he's not in law enforcement. We was doing a practical, and practical is like, we doing stuff outside, dealing with traffic stops with the instructor. So he came up, he's pulling the guy over speed, talking to the guy. Now the instructor, he's being aggressive with him, talking back to him, ain't want to listen to him. And the instructor asks him, man, why should I get out of the car? He said, because I'm the police. Instructor say, cut. He said, man, what the fuck you just said? This episode of Shop Talk is sponsored by Aftermath Lawn Service and Landscaping, mowing, mulching, straw, pressure washing, and more. You can call owner Edward Brown at 803-464-7605. Again, that's 803-464-7605. Train So Hard University, where it's just not a movement, it's a lifestyle. You can contact myself, Excalibur Miller, on Facebook, or my Instagram, The Miller Experience, or you contact my brother, T Miller, on Facebook, or on Instagram, Prodigal Son 36. Interested in being a sponsor for Shop Talk or the Miller Experience, you can contact myself, Ernest Miller, at 803-565-9752, or you can hit me up on my email at eaenestmiller83@gmail.com. You can also make contact with my producer, Victor Wesley of Vic West Production. His telephone number is 803-225-0021. Also, his email address is vicwestp@gmail.com.
Get up, you need to get up off your ass, boy. Get up, you need to get up off your ass, girl. Get up, you need to get up off your ass, boy. Get up, you need to get up off your ass, girl. Get up, you need to get up off your ass, boy. Get up, you need to get up off your ass, girl. Get up, you need to get up off your ass, boy. Get up. First things first, don't do this rap shit to stand out. My plan's about to minimize the folks holding their hands out. Whether you on the corner bumming or day at your man's house, relying on government funds, crying cause they ran out.
All right, the next topic. How can police officers gain the public trust in communities it has lost? I want to start it off, and then I have Hughes and the Terrence go after me, and then you guys can go ahead and intervene, basically because they are law enforcement also. I want them point of views before y'all get started. So I'm going to say for me, the way I police, I always want people to I always treat people, whenever I interact with someone on the streets, whether traffic stop, collision, anything, even when I work for the police department, when I'm going to their houses, dealing with domestic, I always treat them with respect. I always treat them like that's my mother, that's my brother, father, daughter, whatever. 'Cause I want an officer to do my family member the same way. That's how I police. I never had an issue with no one. Never. Not even at the jail. I treat everybody with respect. I know people F up. It happens. I'm not going to sit there and downgrade you because when you're working at the jail, when I worked at the jail, you seeing people at their lowest. So why you want to kick a man down already? So I would treat them with respect like they're my brother or one of my loved ones. Same thing on the streets. Working collisions, people were dying, whatever. I'm about to write them a ticket. I'm about to write them a big ticket. Why I'm going to sit there and be nasty to them? I'm already messing up their day by giving them this ticket. So why I'm going to sit there and be nasty to them, man? But now sometimes ish do hit the fan. Sometimes you got to match people's energy because some people don't understand respect. Yeah. So then sometimes there's occasions you got to match their energy. But you can check my track record, man. I ain't never had an issue, never had a complaint. If I did have a complaint, it's from someone that don't understand, that never been told no in their life. You know what I'm saying? That's the ones that always go back and complain. And once my superior watched the videos, they're like, oh, you did nothing wrong. So from my point, I think more officers need to just stop. Some of them are programmed. Stop being programmed and be human. Treat people the way you would want this officer to treat one of your loved ones. And that's just from my state. Hughes?
They have a thing called community policing. A lot of your larger agencies have taken that, and in my opinion, in my view, and what I have learned is that they're using it the wrong way. They take the old police officer that's about to retire and ain't got nothing, can't do nothing else, and put him in the prettiest car and give him candy and give him keys and give him trash bags and everything else, and he go visit the old people. He go to the school to say hi. He go to the meetings and talk about what the police are doing and this and that. No. F that. Everybody needs to learn how to do community service. That way, when you're on a traffic stop, you have the ability to listen in on what's going on with this individual. You know, with this individual. I'm running late for work. You know, hey, I'm sorry, I'm running late for work. Me and my wife just got into it. My son died yesterday, and I got to go to work to finish this project before I go to the funeral home to make arrangements for his funeral. They ain't hear none of that. All they heard was, I'm running late for work. Oh, okay.
Now you speeding. You admit
Now
you speeding.
You get a ticket.
You run late for work, you admit you speeding. Yep.
You know?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
No. Some other things on your mind. So, no, you take that time and say, hey, look, I understand what you're going through. I'm going to issue a warning, but before you take off, I want you to sit here for about 15 minutes and just gather your thoughts before you go further down the road. Because I don't want to see you get hurt or anything else, any more burden on your family than what it is now before you go to work. Sorry for your loss. Take your time and, get yourself together. If I see you pull off before then I'm going to pull you over again and give you a ticket. Put a little humor to it, but hear it to understand. Officers come in, they want to be sergeants, they want to be lieutenant, they want to be chief, everybody want to be in charge. Everybody want the big dollar. But they don't know how to be police officers. We, as police officers, I started police work in 94. Okay? So from 94 to now, my first pay was, I never forget it, $16,180 a year. That was my pay. And you won't get no overtime, And I had a 1988 Chevy with ball tires and a bubble light on top. These kids don't know nothing about that nowadays. And the sheriff said, Miss Jones, the one down there that make the macaroni and cheese and this and that? No, I don't, Sheriff. Well, Mr. Jones that run the store? No, I don't, Sheriff. Miss Kate that always walk her dog in the neighborhood? No, I don't, Sheriff. Well, you know what?
You don't know the community.
Right. You ain't running traffic. You better not stop a car. You better not do nothing until you know these people. You better be able to come back and tell me something every other day about at least one person in the community, before you even stop a car. And if he heard you on the radio stopping a car, he called you to the office. What you stopped the car for? What was the reason behind that?
That shit ain't gonna fly in highway patrol.
Right. Yeah. Right. But see, that's the problem. But see, the highway patrol is totally different. See, because if we in the community as police officers and deputy sheriffs, if we take care of the community, then when they get on the road, they'll understand the rules. They'll understand the policies, the procedures. They'll understand why highway patrol do what they do. People don't understand. Highway patrol do what they do because they don't want to see somebody brain spread out over.
Yeah.
Or, they don't want to see that. They think, oh, you just picking on me because I'm black. Or you just picking on me because I'm young. Yeah, because my truck squatted. Ain't none of that. No.
I'm gonna say this.
I'm speeding or not.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this before we go over to Terrence. Ain't trying to really call nobody out here at the police department here, but I was in the store the other day and I had a guy come up to me and say, "Man, we really miss you here being on the force." Mm-hmm. It's a citizen.
Right.
He said, "Man, you really talk to the people and really know what's going on around here, and you really try to figure things out."
Yeah.
So we don't have that no more. That made me feel good though.
Bruh, I went to
Made
T's
a
Express the
difference.
other day. I went
Yeah.
to T's Express the other day. I've been going for 2 years now. I went to T's Express. Every customer that came in there, I couldn't leave the store. I just went there to ask a question
Yeah.
to the owner. I couldn't leave the store without somebody, hey man, how you been? How your family doing?
See?
All that. You know, and I know one of the guys, I had written him a citation for marijuana.
Wow.
You know? You
It's
see what
all
I'm
how you
saying?
treat
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
It's all how you
Makes a
treat people.
difference.
You know? Yeah.
See what you got to
So-
say, bro.
It's
From
like
the-
I said, the communication part is very important. I think the reality of it is that a lot of people that have a disdain for police, a lot of that's taught in the household. Regardless of what police officer you have, we're gonna put them all in the same box, and all police, they the same. Now, I think little things like, I'm not gonna lie to you. Whenever a cop get behind me, it can make you focus so much on everything you're doing till you end up effing up. You so focused on not swerving that you end up swerving. And let's be real. A lot of times, a lot of cats, like they, especially when there's a quota that has to be met, they looking for any reason to pull you over. Things like having a quota, a certain amount of numbers that you have to hit. Regardless of what you think, it's going to eventually come off as you harassing. And even though that's not the case a majority of the time, in a lot of cases that's what it is. But being human and, like y'all say, hearing a person out and how you deliver it to the citizen can make a major difference. But to be real with you, if you're trained to already hate the police, regardless of how good the police are, whether they're totally different from the image that the media wants to paint, you're going to hate the police. You're not going to trust them.
So I got a question though. What is this quota thing, Mike? I mean, I've heard
We don't got no
over and
quota,
over
man.
and
They
over
they
and
think
over
they think we
again.
have it's a quota where you got to have a particular amount of citations within a month. We don't have it. But they still want us to have a specific amount of stuff
Hold on,
within the
you
month.
don't have it. You got
We
it.
don't
Wait,
have it.
hold on,
All
hold on.
right.
Technically,
let me explain.
technically
Let me
we
explain
don't-
to you a
no,
little
no,
better.
no. I'm talking about from the highway patrol part.
No, it's the same thing.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
same thing through all across state board. What it is years ago they used to have quotas. Highway patrol used to have you had to have a certain amount of arrests and a certain amount of citations. That's years ago. Now it's illegal to have that. But what they do is the state has standards and statutes that certain numbers, that's where the revenue and things come from.
So you get
That how the money is
you get-
divided to the different departments.
So by you giving me a ticket,
It don't have to be a ticket, it be a warning.
It could be a warning.
Yeah.
It's just the numbers of highway patrols got this amount of numbers, so and they're doing this amount of work, so they need this amount of money. Man is doing this, so they need this amount of money, and they need this, right? So the numbers from the citations, and believe it or not, they separated from the different citations, from seatbelts, from speeding tickets, reckless driving, all that stuff is DUIs, all that stuff is separated into different categories, even down to the type of arrest that you make and the numbers that come from that. Because believe it or not,
do they
although
understand-
we give you a ticket, people don't pay them.
absolutely.
They don't pay them.
Pay mine. But do they not understand how that would influence someone, motivate somebody to do it just because?
Do what?
Just to give a ticket, just to give a ticket.
No, because I personally, and a lot of us, we disagree with the amount of money that they charge for some of these tickets. Some of these tickets are ridiculous. So yeah, I won't. I'm gonna say this.
There again, you preference that, you stated that by saying personally.
I say a lot of
You
us.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but a lot
So-
of us. Yeah.
So I'm saying if there's, and I think the whole government is messed up that way because the educational system is set up that way as well, with certain things. Like if you have you are funded. A district is funded according to their population.
Right.
Right? And the subsects within that population. So then you're looking for little things sometimes. You know what I mean? Parents are incentivized to also, in order for them to get a check, to say, my baby I think you need to be tested. Fool up, but it's real.
Yeah.
Right? So what I'm saying is, I think y'all are kind of incentivized to arrest, to ticket, in order to justify.
Well, I'm saying
That goes to those ones like Terrence said, that's programmed.
yeah.
Because it depends on the leadership then, right? Because if you come to a meeting and your boss like, we need to crack down on that, and you go out like, yes, sir.
Well,
like
I done had that argument before. Like, if it ain't out there, then it ain't out there.
Right.
But don't go out there. But my argument with that, don't go out there and fuck up. Don't go out there and speed. Then we won't bother you. Don't go out there running no red light. We won't bother you. Don't get behind the wheel drunk. We won't bother you.
True.
We can't do nothing unless you doing it. You know, you feel me? There's
I
people out there still doing it. You know, but I understand what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
I'm not that guy. I don't pull nobody over. Like, I'm not going to say how fast I go, but if you go the same speed I go in my personal car, I ain't going to pull you over.
That's it.
If you go over it, I'm going to pull you over.
That's right. If I do 75,
that's the type of policing I am. I don't do all that extra shit. I don't be out there trying to find nothing. 'Cause my belief is, you go out there and find something, you're going to find something that you really ain't want to get your ass into. You know what I'm saying? Now, if it happens, it happens. If I pull a car over for like a headlight being out and we end up getting in the chase, cool, we in it. But I'm not going out there trying to find a specific car out there that I know that's going to run from me. Nah, that's not how I work. I've been in this game for 12 years, man. Nah, that ain't how I operate.
A lot of police work, and it all goes back to media too. People see it on TV. Even the guys that want to be police officers, that car chase was cool. The way that building blew up, the way the way he chased that guy down.
It's cool till you get into it.
And he ran them and this and that. So the first year, oh boy, they acting fool.
These new boys
It's
come
new
in,
guys,
they
yeah.
wide
It's
open.
new
They wide
And
open.
I talk to the new guys. I be telling them that. I say, look, I always tell them, I'm like, look, this is my main thing I always tell them. Don't go out there looking for nothing, man. But this is what I always tell them. If you pull them over for the small things, you're going to find the big things. But don't go out there looking for it. Because you might, some of the guys ain't never been in an altercation.
Right.
So the shit hit the fan, what the first thing they might do?
I worked with a guy, and he said he never been in a fight.
Yeah.
I said, what? He said he never been in a fight. I was
How
like,
you a police officer?
dog.
I remember we was at the academy, and thank God this guy ain't in law enforcement. He failed. Thank you, Jesus. We was doing, that's why I'm saying it. That's the only why I'm saying it, because he's not in law enforcement. We was doing a practical, and practical is like, we doing stuff outside, dealing with traffic stops with the instructor. So he came up, he was pulling the guy over speed, talking to the guy. Now the instructor, he's being aggressive with him, talking back to him, ain't want to listen to him. And the instructor asked him, man, why should I get out of the car? He said, because I'm the police. Instructor said, cut. He said, man, what the fuck you just said? You the police.
But that's how they feel sometimes.
He said, nah, that ain't going. And when he said it, everybody like, oh, shit, I can't believe he said that. But see, that's the mentality he had
because I got this badge.
Yeah, he had his badge. You know what I'm saying?
I can tell you what to do.
Exactly.
I can make
exactly.
you get out the car, and if you don't
Exactly.
get out the car, you won't regret it.
So that's why I say, thank God this cat ain't in law enforcement, man.
Yeah. See, so how can that type of thing be prevented?
And
You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's what I was about to say.
why did he not be able to pass? Was it because of that, or other things that he felt? Well, I don't want to get you into all that, but I'm just saying, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
when we really think about it, there need to be certain tests that deal with that part, not
I
just
agree.
your IQ or, you know what I'm saying? How can you answer questions? No, how do you deal with real life situations? Because people's lives are on the line.
Right. I'm gonna say this. A wise man once told me one time, and he was my sergeant at the jail when I first started out. He said, The best police officer was a jail officer first.
I always say that. I always say that.
Best police officer.
I always say that. I always say if I become a chief or any kind of position where I can hire a guy in law enforcement, I'm gonna look at their background. I'm gonna see if they work at the jail. Cause you know why? They talk to people first.
They learn.
They know how to talk.
You learn how to talk to people.
Yeah,
they have to.
They have to. They have no choice. They know how to use their mouthpiece before they use this piece. They talk to people. I always said that. Because me coming from the jail background, when I got in the street, I was able to talk to these people, man. You know what I'm saying? I never had to pull my gun out on nobody.
Because you got the anger people,
Yeah.
the angry people. You got the sobbers, the ones that just crying their eyes out, the ones that are hostile, everything. And so you deal with that on that incoming. The officer drops him off, and whether he's pissed off, pissed on himself, depressed, whatever, that jailer is the first person that's got to handle that.
And they learn how to deal with people that's drunk, people that are coming off of drugs, people that's got health issues. You learn how to deal with all that stuff in that in that enclosed environment that you can't escape. You can't go nowhere. You got to deal with it. You got to be able to handle it. You can't. You got to be able to talk to them. You got to be able to get them what they need as far as treatment. You got to be able to get them fed. You got to be able to get them, and then you had the opportunity to hear stories. I had a lady one time we locked up. She was the secretary for one of the generals at the Pentagon. And she got locked up. I'm standing, this beautiful woman standing in front of me, like just hair done, nice suit on and everything. She was in there for prescription drug, writing bad prescription drugs. Why? She had an accident and she got hooked on the prescription drugs. She didn't know that those drugs were, as powerful as they were, and she got hooked. So everybody's got a story that is the reason why, and you need and you learn as a jail officer whether or not that story is bullshit or if it's legit. I had a kid one time come in. This kid, the officer brought him in. Also, when talked to him, the kid said, and I'm saying to myself, this kid don't belong here. What's going on with this kid? I asked him, I say, what'd you get locked up for? He said, shoplifting. I say, what'd you take? He said, donuts and orange juice.
Oh, he hungry, that's all. Yeah,
Right.
He hungry, that's all.
His grandma check got cut off, so the lights was off. No food in the house. He was going back and forth to the store stealing food to feed him and his brother. You see what I'm saying? But the economy and society, they never looked at that. How we gonna handle this? If they'd have handled that, then the kid wouldn't have been there. Those type of things. And the other part of it is I'm gonna say it. Every officer needs to take the time to sit and talk to people. Learn your community first before you go out there and try to stop somebody handling situations that you can't handle. You can't be a big boss and know how to talk to people and handle situations if you don't know how to talk to people and you don't know your own laws. All thing you know is, I got him for speeding. Well, just like I said, why I gotta get out the car? I done gave my license, registration, proof of insurance. What I get out of the car for? Well, sir, the reason I get out of the car is because I smell strong odor of marijuana and I'm going to be searching this vehicle. They wouldn't know to say that. Yeah. Or the guy steps out of the car and you tell him, sir, all right, stand by the back of your car. No, I'll get back in my car. Okay, go ahead, get back in your car. Step out the car again. Sir, turn around, put your hands behind your back. For what? Because you're trying to take control of my traffic stop, so I'm detaining you. I had the right to detain you up to 2 hours. They don't know that. These new officers don't know that stuff to use it to educate people, to control the situation, or to handle situations. So when people leave a traffic stop and they see you in court, although they pay that fine, what do they turn around and say? Thank you, officer. Thank you. I apologize. Thank you.
You got anything for it?
Yeah.
What you got?
Coming from Sumter.
I'm gonna be a little more critical.
That's fine. That's fine.
I'm gonna say this. I mean, from listening to y'all, and from my interaction with the police, I'll say this: there are some good officers that do deserve respect of the community because they give the respect. But at the same token, like he said, some people, a lot of those officers, they need to, I think they need, do they give y'all like psychological
Yeah.
thing? Like,
Yeah. But it's just like anything else. If you know what to say, you can pass it.
Yeah, but no, I think they really need to do some psychological treatment on some of these officers. I don't feel like, just like with all the cases we see all the time, because Terrence was saying about as far as like people automatically get aggressive with officers. I think if you go, I'm gonna take it from being a black man, period. Policing started as slave catcher. Get what I'm saying? So then you take it into now. You know, it's a name called capital. It's capital. What is it? I don't want to say it right. It's capitalism or something like that. But it's a natural fear of police. Y'all ever heard of that? Yeah. And I think black people innately already have that. Because if you think about after 400 years of dealing with that, and then you wake up every day, how many police shootings we see?
I'm gonna disagree with you. Go
It's
ahead.
taught very early.
Hold on. That's
Right,
what,
that's-
that's
yeah.
what I'm about to
Very
say.
Okay,
I'm
go
about
ahead.
to get to that.
Go ahead.
So you getting all this stuff fed to you. Then you got, like y'all was about to say, with the being taught, because when as a child when coming home, you got to respect the officer. Don't do this, don't do that. Just like he was saying, when you're driving, you're gonna straighten up. But that also is that fear to a degree. But some of these officers, I think, take advantage of that, because some of them, like you said, don't know how to talk. They don't know how to, you know what I'm saying? They're not asking the person. How many times I done got stopped? Oh, they ain't say I was speeding. Oh, whose car is this? Who the fuck driving it?
Right.
You already checked I'm not quite sure you running my plates when you was following me up the street. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like, it's a whole lot, man, because I know this is a wide topic, and some people will be, they picking on the officer or this and that, but for community policing, I agree with you. I think they need to have some type of come around to, schools. Remember back in the day, the officers used to come out not just as being police officers, but they would come and talk to the students. If you in the neighborhood, get to know the people in the damn neighborhood. Stop,
I think that's the real community policing, not going to the schools, because that's just the job. I mean, like take one out your way, like I used to do when I worked for Manor PD. I go to a certain neighborhood, I see a guy playing ball, I grab the ball, man, shoot with him for about 10 minutes, man.
Yeah, but a lot of these officers automatically, if they see somebody, they already setting a trap for them. Some of them, and that's why a lot of people aren't comfortable with them. You know what I'm saying? You see me right now. If I get out my car, these people don't know I'm a business owner. You know what I'm saying? Oh, that's a little thug. You don't know what I am.
Right.
I could have been Barack Obama's little brother.
They see
Right.
all the
You know what
change.
I'm
They
saying?
think you
I was guessing more like Mr. T with the chains and stuff.
Yeah, you know what? But what I'm saying is, all that profiling, and and that keeps people on edge. You know what I'm saying? This has been going on for a long time, and I think too, like I said, with technology now, a lot of stuff is being seen. Certain stuff that was hidden before can't be hidden anymore. So and a lot and it's hard for. Just think about it like this: you've been oppressed all this long time. You seeing police killings, the whole 9 yards. That's just heightening your fear. That's not calming nothing. So it makes it harder for somebody to sit there and be like, I want to trust this officer in a uniform. You know what I'm saying? Your kids will see this, because these kids now, they looking on YouTube, TikTok, everything. They seeing these videos too. They already making preconceived notions of the officer before they say, hold on, I don't want to deal with him. You know what I'm saying? I remember, most jobs when you little, especially, back in the day, our generation, you would see a police officer, fire department, all that, they introducing you,
My man came through.
Yeah, but now, shoot, you take them people. You know how many times, like I do career fairs. You come up there to a career fair with your uniform on. Them kids don't be trying to talk to y'all. They go to they be at my table. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So they be like, I ain't talking to the police. I'm gonna go over here.
I mean, because they've been taught. You're scared, man.
Yeah.
It used to be that the police officer, and I'll be honest, I thought a police officer was a hero.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, that was the persona. If an officer walked in the classroom, you're like, ooh, is that a real gun? You know, and
that's the thing, they
and
still
that
are.
was a portion of the community policing, and then they got involved with other events within inside the community. The social media plays a terrible role, and so does the news media. They play a terrible role because just as there's stereotypes out here and racism, there's also the same thing that lies with police officers in the community, okay? You see an officer beat the hell out of some guy to damn near a pulp, okay? That doesn't reflect every freaking officer out there. But you're not smart enough to digest that. You just take that in. And then you see another one. And then, you can look on, like you said, you can look on TikTok, you can look on YouTube, all day long. Look at all these bad officers out here. And what's happened is the good officers, they're having a hell of a time with their job because of a few making everyone look bad.
But some of that too is because some of those good officers, no matter how good they are, you know, you gotta look at it, if they standing there watching somebody get beat or something like that, and they don't do nothing or don't say nothing, because some of them don't, and some of them, you know, I know, you know, some police departments have these little cliques or whatever inside there, so they're not going to say that person, that officer, if he do report it, then he gets kicked out or something like that, then it makes the whole situation worse.
Right.
You know, so it's
there's the one on
double-edged
YouTube.
sword.
I don't know if y'all have seen it. There's like 4 officers called for one black guy, and they get him into the back of the patrol car, and it's a sergeant, a big fat white guy.
Oh yeah, and the girl pulls him off.
And he hits him in cuffs in the back of the car, and the little female officer grabs him by the belt loop and yanks him back. He spins around on her and grabs her by the throat and pins her to the car. This is a fellow officer.
Yep,
and she's basically trying to protect him. Listen, Sarge, you're going to get in trouble. You know, stop. Yeah. And he's like, boom. And then as he's walking off, the audacity is, I'll see you back at the station. Wow. Like, wait a second. I understand you're a sergeant. Yeah. But all right, if you're a sergeant, you've got to lead by example. And she was trying to help you not lose your freaking career. Okay,
did you do that
but
when you
those
assaulted another officer?
That style of all the social media is making it rough. It really is. So what do we have to do? We have to go back to the community policing. I hate to say that old saying, the walking the beat. Mm-hmm. Yep. I was going to be a police officer 30 years ago. Like, I volunteered in Midwest City and Del City, Oklahoma. I was a police officer in the military. I taught martial arts, taught guns. I was like, yeah, because these guys were heroes to me. God didn't have that plan for me, but at the end of the day, you look at it now, and these guys' jobs are hard. You know, each department has its own.
Jay, let me stop you there. It's how you make it. It really ain't that
okay,
hard.
But highway patrol, highway patrol.
Yeah.
Highway
no,
patrol.
even when I worked at the police department, man, the biggest. It's all how you make the job. If you're an asshole on the streets, your job gonna be difficult. I ain't like that. I take the same energy to X, Y, and Z.
But it goes further than that. You're highway patrol. I'm not going to ask you, but I am sure that you have seen someone decapitated, dead.
Oh yeah, that aspect, yeah, it is.
Mother,
okay,
child,
okay,
whatever.
Yeah.
So on top of already being branded by bad folk, you're taking that in. So it's like sandwiching you. Okay?
I got
the same thing in city.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
You go to a domestic, you guys go out to a domestic call, and you see, we'll just use a female beaten half to death by her spouse, and you're having to arrest them. But you're still human. You still have eyes. So you guys are harboring all this stuff on the inside, and then as soon as you walk up to a car, no matter how nice you are, there's an attitude. And then you've got to fear for your life because TikTok made it so, because Facebook made it so. Yeah. It's like you have to earn that respect every single time you get to the car.
Okay. I understand all this stuff you're saying, but what about prior to TikTok, Facebook, all this stuff now? Because this has been going on, like I said, it's been going on for a long time.
But hold on, Fred, let me say this. With me, the reason why I went in law enforcement, I never was that guy that grew up that want to be in law. If you ask my brother, man, we want to go to NFL, be some type of entertainer. That was our goals, man. Never thought about law
Man, what
enforcement.
happened to you, man?
Well, reason why,
Too short.
yeah, I know,
like
right?
me.
The reason why I went into law enforcement for 2 instances. Man, I remember it was an incident in Jacksonville. Me and my brother got pulled over for some bull job. I got pissed off about that. I didn't like it. And I remember when I moved back to South Carolina, I got pulled over in something for another bull job. I feel like they was messing with me. I didn't like it. So my mindset was like this: okay, cool. I don't got no record or anything. Let me go in and be the change. So I filled out the application. First I had to work at the jail, then I finally went on to the police department. And everything that I've been done wrong to, I never did it to nobody else. Instead of me complaining about it, using my Twitter fingers, complaining about it, I just went inside and been the change, man. That's the reason why I went into law
See,
enforcement.
y'all the rarity. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
Because I grew up dealing with the police on a different level. Like I said, it's not all of them. I can't blame the whole force.
But 90% of the people
yeah.
that pulled him over.
Yeah, but now you just pulled me over, you know what I'm saying? My family had to deal with them. And I mean, I know what it feels like to be harassed by the police for no reason. And I'm sitting there like, what the hell? You know, so I can't speak for everybody else. I know what I went through, and I know, and then when I'm sitting here looking at stuff and I'm seeing similarities with other people, you know, I could have got killed. Like I put it out there one time, and believe it or not, was it a state trooper in town pulled me over. He was going the opposite. We passing each other in different lanes. You know, this fool turned his car all the way around. I'm thinking he going somewhere. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm going home. This man turns around, follows me all the way up from Ginyard Drive all the way to Manning Avenue. I had just turned. I'm about to hit the bridge to go to my house. This man stops me. I didn't resist arrest or nothing. I said, "How you doing, officer?" Snatched the door open. Where you going? I said, what the fuck? Then now my attitude changed. I'm like, man, I said, what's wrong with you?
But that's
Because see, I was in more. I know what you get ready to say.
I'm
but
not
see,
I'm not going to downplay it.
Watch what I'm about to say. As a black man, this is what people don't get. This is why I couldn't. Well, I ain't gonna say I couldn't understand because they outnumbered the brother. But this is my thing. When you come snatch somebody's door open, if I got my window down, I handed you, I got everything out, about to hand it to you. You snatch my door open like you about to pull me out of my vehicle, ask me where I'm going, and I'm like, dude, I'm going home. What's up? He about to pull his gun. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with this man?
This is recently?
That was a couple of years back. So I'm sitting there like, what in the hell he talking about? I said, why'd you pull me over? I saw you were swerving. I said, bro, I wasn't swerving. I said, I don't know what this man, you know how many incidents out of hand like that? And a lot of times most of the time, I get stopped because of my cars. Yeah. Whose car is this? Who the fuck is driving the car? If I'm not running from you, you shouldn't ask me that. And I don't even want you to ask me where I'm going.
Yeah.
Ask for my license and registration. Be done with it.
I think it takes a certain kind of person to be an officer. It truly does, okay? But you're in control of you. I'm not downing you for it, but I can relate.
I felt my life was threatened. That's what I felt like.
Your life was threatened.
So-
I was stuffed into a back of a patrol car and left for dead for 3 days in jail, and for doing nothing, zero, nothing. I could. I have that almost PTSD, if you will. Years later, that same officer pulled me over and said I was doing 70 in a 35, and I'm like, ain't no fucking way. I'm like, I looked down, and I was doing 60s. So I said, hey, I just started getting up to speed, but it was 55. Well, it does. It brings me back. It takes me back to a really mental time, and I get that. You know, black or white, that to me don't matter at this point because we both share something that was very discomforting to us. That same officer that left me in jail for 3 days is the same officer that pulled me over, that apologized to me between those two stops, between those two incidents, that he was trying to do better and he was sorry. But you're going to lie on me. You're going to lie on me in front of a judge. I'm sorry. But you know the thing is, I try to forgive people as they trespass against me. I truly do. But when I sat there in front of that judge that day, I pulled my mask down. And I said, you remember me? I said, you let me rot in jail for 3 days. The judge about held me in contempt over in traffic court. I said, Judge, I've paid for that damn ticket. And I did swear too. And she was like, excuse me? I said, I'm sorry, Judge. I've already paid for that ticket. If you really believe I was speeding, I've already paid for that ticket. You pulled me for 70 and a 35. Judge, I'd like to, he dropped it down. He marked me for 60 and a 35 like he was doing me some favor, right? And I'm like, no. And I said, you really don't remember me? You don't remember apologizing to me at the station on 301 at the Shell station? No, I don't know who you are. Believe me, a bad taste, I get it. That was the same officer 3 different times just sitting there lying. You're a bad person. You're a bad person. So we take that, and sometimes we want to judge other officers. I try not to.
Oh, I mean, I try not to either. Cause
I try not to. It just it almost like Miller was talking about. It almost depends on how the officer approaches you for whatever reason they've pulled you over or approached you at your house or whatever. It almost starts there.
Yeah, but that's the point I'm making. Like, I'll say this. I know you had your situation, I had mine, and sometimes, I mean, white, black, it don't really matter. But from what I've seen, like I said, as a black man, I'm gonna keep reiterating that because we get it the worst for some reason. And I've had some incidents. That one incident, that was the state trooper. He was white, but I've had majority of incidents I had, but usually be the black officers showing off in front of the white officers.
I would agree with that too.
And I was like, what the hell? Like, it would be like the white officer came and calmed the situation down. The black officer sitting there trying to throw me up against. I'm like, get down on your knees for what? Like, dude, I'm sitting there, I'm being calm with you. You have no reason to do all this extra stuff you're doing. If I'm sitting there talking to you, I ain't reaching for nothing. I'm cooperating. What's the aggression for? You know, and like I done told a couple officers, you take that badge off, we can go toe to toe. I don't give a shit. But because it comes to a point where, and most black men can say this, when you're cooperating, because I've heard so many people say, you know, with all these deaths and stuff, they should have cooperated. I watched a few videos, they was cooperating. I mean, how much more cooperation do you need? And then you're going to turn around and beat the shit out of them or just haul off and hit them. I tell them, nigga, take the handcuffs off, let's get it. Because, I mean, if I'm going to fight for my life, let me fight straight up. I ain't the toughest nigga on the planet, but I'll put it on your ass.
You know, I almost relate being a police officer to a restaurant manager. Yeah. Okay? These guys, they're counselors. They're heroes. They deal with a lot. Restaurant manager, think about it. How many times have you seen someone shell out over a plate of food? I never took it personal. I smiled in their face, gave them a refund, did whatever I needed to do. And anymore, you see it, fight break out between a manager and a customer because you a dumb mother. And he's like, excuse me, no. And they go to blows. You can't take the job personal.
Yeah, but it all comes down to respect. You know, like they were saying, knowing that person is a human being, you know, now if they start giving you some static after that, then you got to do what you got to do. Yeah. But it's your, like you said, the approach. Yeah. That's why I don't, you know, as an adult versus me being young, me being young, either I'm going to run from the police or I'm going to say some slick shit. But as an adult, I take them, you know, you got to take people how they come at you. Yeah. But, and I know their jobs are rough, but some of these guys, man, I don't know. We need to do something. Y'all have to do something about better.
See, that's why
critiquing of these fools.
What is the answer? So what is the answer? That was the question.
Again, that's it. It's just community policing, having these guys, because another thing they can do, and something does it. You take the guys and you put them out in the community, and you let them, again, interact with people, talk to people, meet different business owners, meet customers and things like that, because Sumter is a, what do they call it, a area where people come into, they call it something. You know what I'm talking about. But anyway,
So a place
because
where they migrating to. Is
right,
like a-
right, because of
sucking.
Shaw. You know, these guys get out of the military. Say again. Now?
Pretty much. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
Because these guys get out of the military, so they come join the police force or the fire department, all those things, and they've never interacted with anybody but those people in the military.
But see, that's why I'm not trying to cut you off, but that's why I was getting ready to say. As far as like, I think y'all really need to do a real assessment of those folks.
You can't. You can't. Well,
You got
hold
a
on,
point.
and
Yeah, military-wise,
if they
yeah,
already
yeah,
was on
yeah.
the police force somewhere else, and they already did some messed up stuff, I don't think they need to be hired.
well, all that comes with government standards and things like
Yeah.
that. You cannot tell somebody that they're not hired because they violated highway patrol policy, but it's not my policy.
I think they need a universal policy.
What I
Some things are universal.
what I feel that can be very helpful, and I think this is across the board, but with the way things are going now, with being like emotional health is coming to the forefront, and people are being more forthright with the fact that they are dealing with stuff. The government has to start being willing to have a part of their budget to have professionals in there to be able to talk to these people.
What you mean, like
Like a
mental
psych-
health? Like they do
Yeah.
some agencies have that now.
But it's actually it's a state.
It's a state thing, yeah. Like
Yeah.
dealing with
Yeah.
mental health people, law enforcement don't come anymore. They got a mental health personnel actually go to that person and deal with them.
If you dealt with a situation that you've never dealt with before, your supervisor, or if someone sees it that you are not responding to, your calls right, or is a change in your personality, whatever have you, they have to recommend you to the state, whatever the thing is. I can't think of the name of it right
But
now.
what about those that are able to hide it a little better, right?
If you
You-
can't see it, you can't see it.
Yeah,
Nothing we can do about it.
but what I'm saying is that it should be some type of therapy available.
We have one. Highway Patrol have one.
Y'all have one? Like,
Yeah, we have
whether
one.
it's
Matter of fact, we
even
just
if it's
had
online.
we just
You
had
get what
we
I'm
just
saying?
had we just had a meeting. And what's the day? Sunday, Thursday, about that, our directors meeting, and he was stating that with the fitness, he said not only we worrying about your outer appearance, we worrying about your inside, meaning your mental.
Yeah.
So we do have. He told us how to contact them. Therapists available for
That's
you
good.
guys.
See?
So we have that for Highway
That's
Patrol.
good. Well,
yeah,
that,
we do
that
have
needs
that.
to be across
Yeah,
the board.
yeah.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
In
yeah.
the government, any part of
Yeah.
the government, shoot, even for teachers. 'cause
Yeah,
sometimes-
yeah.
I don't know if it still holds true, but it used to be a long time ago that if you used an outside entity to speak, it could later affect you in promotion, in moving up into the government, such as if he goes from Highway Patrol to FBI, okay? Well, you were seeing a counselor for 6 months.
Yeah, I see crazy shit out there.
From my understanding, even through the HIPAA laws, your stuff is not private. The only person that you can truly have a private conversation with is a priest, a minister, a chaplain, a preacher, because they answer to God.
Let me tell you something. And Terrence can attest to this. It's times I work these fatals, man, and I will always call Terrence up and let him know what happened. Because, he's seen stuff too in his job. And he'll tell him, like, bro, you need to really see somebody. You need to talk to somebody. You talking about it like it's normal. You know what I'm saying? Like, you talking about it as normal. So I'm glad Highway Patrol does have that programs. Because, when I be telling them some stuff, it's not normal, some of the stuff I see, man. It's not. Straight up. But I feel like I'm doing some type of community policing. That's why I got the Miller experience in Shop Talk. And with Trainsall University, because people can see a different side. A lot of people
Right.
don't know that I'm a police officer.
Right.
A lot of people do not know that.
Right.
You know, until
Exactly.
they see like my page or something, I post something dealing with law
Right.
enforcement. They're like, man, you cool, man. You police for real? I'm like, yeah, I done had somebody say it to me. Yeah, so, yeah. So, all right, last topic.
Yes, boy, get up. First things first, don't do this rap shit to stand out. My plan's about to minimize the folks holding their hands out. Whether you on the corner bumming all day at your man's house, relying on government funds, crying cause they ran out. It's hard to believe you can receive when you ain't ran routes. When chasing the greed, most people bleed cause it don't pan out. It's time to proceed, so take heed to what your plan's about. So you can grow seeds with no weeds, then watch your plans sprout. Everybody wants something but don't know how to get it. Pride in their way, how